Hey, how's it going? This is Joe and Tell, and I just watched a video from Steve Guttenberg, and this is not the normal place where I film. It's just that I felt like I should respond, so I just set up a camera real quick. But in this video, Steve Guttenberg, a fellow YouTube audio reviewer, he stated that he doesn't believe in the law of diminishing returns in audio. And it really got me thinking because, I don't know if he's trolling. Steve, if you're trolling, if you're just trying to get people to respond, genius. If you really believe that, not so genius. Law of diminishing returns is this has to do with economics. This is a principle of diminishing marginal utility. I don't know how you really argue with it because it just makes common sense. And I think what it is, if I were to really guess what it is I think that he may be misinterpreting what that means specifically. So in the video, he was just saying that he doesn't understand when people talk about that because he has seen from his experience in sales that, as you go up in price, there is a benefit. Stuff gets better and better as you spend more money. And I think that's true. I wouldn't disagree with that, but that's not what the law of diminishing returns is. The law of diminishing returns talks about the fact that the more you spend, the less the benefit is, right? You get less and less benefit. And so it's a law, it's not, I didn't know it was debatable, I guess. And so that's why I felt like I should make this video. Example, I just watched another video from Amir from Audio Science Review, and he talks about reviewing these audio cables that are $2,000 and how some inexpensive ones actually measured better. And it got me thinking that, above a certain point, when you're trying to sell a product and it has a certain price point, there's a certain point where you can't necessarily make the product perform better at what the product is supposed to do. Now you're starting to get into, different things as far as the way it looks or, differentiation in other ways aside from performance. And if somebody's willing to pay for that, then that's up to them, no problem, right? But it just was interesting because the less expensive cable actually measured better than the way more expensive one. So, that's just one example. I do have an example that I wrote down here with regards to speakers. And so, let's just say, for example, this is what diminishing marginal utility is the more you go up in price, actually could be going this way, the more you go up in price, it can get better, but the amount that it gets better by less and less, right? So it's not a one-to-one thing where it's linear. So, the more you spend, it just keeps getting much and much better, right? It's not linear like that. And so here's an example. Let's say if you go from a $1 speaker to a $10 speaker, so, right, times 10. So you go from $1 to 10, you're going from nothing because you can't really buy a speaker, any type of speaker that I know of that works for $1 to $10. You may be able to get some kind of clock radio, something like that. I don't know. But something that can put out some sound, right? So from $1 to $10, you're going from no sound to being able to hear something. That's huge, right? Nothing to being able to hear something. If you're stuck on an island and you had no choice but to be able to hear something, I think you'd choose to be able to hear something, right? And so now from $10 to $100, right? Now you're talking about going from this crappy clock speaker or whatever speaker, hypothetical speaker, to maybe I've seen some powered bookshelf speakers for desktop use on Amazon. And so, it's powered and they're inexpensive bookshelf speakers. I've seen some from Edifier, Mica, things like that, and I've actually heard them. And I think they might sound better than some inexpensive sound bars, right? And so, that's pretty awesome. Now we're going from pretty bad sound to having sound that at least can maybe get down into 60, 70 hertz region. So you're going to actually hear some bass. It's probably not going to be very accurate, right? And so there's going to be some issues. There's going to be resonance, stuff like that. Now, if you go from 100 to 1,000. So let me rewind a little bit. That's better sound, right? So you're going from better sound, but before you went from no sound to having sound. So that's a bigger step, right? Now, if you go from 100 to 1,000, now we're talking about going from those powered speakers to, let's say, a Yamaha AS501, like an integrated amplifier, and then let's say some passive bookshelf speakers, like maybe some, I don't know, ELAC UB5s. I don't know what the price of those are. But now you're going to actually get a more accurate system. You're going to be able to customize it a little bit more. And you're going to have bass that's now down to, maybe 45 hertz, right? So lower bass, more accurate, less resonances. And so that's what you get. But still, so that's a nice upgrade, but that's still not as big of an upgrade as from no sound to having sound, right? And then the jump from a clock speaker to powered bookshelf speakers, that's still a bigger jump than what we just did right now. Now, so as you see, the benefit, right? It's diminishing returns. So the return that you get keeps getting lower the more you spend. So let's go to the next step. Let's talk about, let's say if you go from 1,000 to 100,000, 1,000 to 10,000, right? Is that what? Yeah, $1,000 to 10,000. You're now getting into the area where you have maybe a separate preamp, a separate power amp, right? So you're gonna get a cleaner signal, cleaner power. You may have some better bookshelf speakers that are maybe more accurate, and you may also have maybe you can throw in a subwoofer there, right? So maybe if you did your research and you got a good deal, you would have more accurate sound, right? Cleaner signal, cleaner power, all that. So you're gonna have more accuracy. The bookshelf speakers will probably be a little bit better. And now that you've added a sub, right? Now you're gonna be able to get bass down to 20 hertz, right? So now you get the entire frequency range of human hearing. Okay, all right. So that's still an improvement, right? That's still an improvement, but still not as much of an improvement as no sound to having sound, right? Or from clock radio to powered bookshelf. So it's still a decreasing return. So I think I'm not sure if it was a misunderstanding, but I'm just explaining to you the way that was taught to me in college or high school. I don't remember where I learned it, but it's universal. And then last, let's just say going from 10,000 to 100,000, now we're talking more about some more esoteric gear, right? And maybe everything is discrete, so nothing's integrated, everything is separate, right? And instead of having bookshelf speakers, maybe you have some very large floor standing speakers that are full range. You don't even need those subs, right? So what do you get? What's the benefit of all that? I'm not even sure that you could say cleaner signal, right? There's maybe status, right? Status, exclusivity, maybe a little bit more cohesiveness because you're not using separate subs that might integrate a little bit better. Maybe because if you were to use DSP, then you could really get some subs to actually integrate just as well. And because you could actually place them in a different place, you might actually be able to make that work with your room better. But that's for another topic. So what at that point, right? What is the return? Now it's even smaller, just more exclusivity, status, the fact that everything is separate. As far as a sound difference, I definitely think that it would be a bigger sound difference in the earlier stages, right? In the stages where you're going from $1 to $10, or from $10 to $100, or for example. So last would be, let's say, $100,000 to $1 million, right? Another 10x increase. $100,000 to $1 million system. At this point, it's kind of like you don't even know if it's going to be better sounding, because the stuff that people focus on when it comes to that is just, they don't, I don't even know. I mean, I've heard systems that are $1 million, and I don't remember thinking that, man, this is totally worth it. It was just like a different type of speaker. Everything was made out of gold, and gold everything, gold this, gold that, expensive materials. And these materials, I'm not even sure that they make them actually perform better, right? I know beryllium is something that people use that's a little bit more expensive, and it does have better performance, but some of the other stuff, I don't know, right? So as far as the benefit, my point being in this whole thing is just that it's decreasing, right? So it could sound better, right? $1 million system could sound better, and I hope it sounds better. It should sound better than the 100,000, but the difference will just not be as extreme as the previous one. So if that's a technicality, whether this is just a technicality, I don't know, but I just hope that you guys understand. I'm here to kind of just help you guys understand what's going on, educate you guys, and I feel like a lot of us YouTube guys get a bad rap, especially from guys who are, maybe looking at the forums. They see all these YouTube guys are BS, and so I hope that this helps clarify some of that. Some of us, do believe what you guys believe, right? It's just that we happen to do it in video form, and yeah, it's frustrating. I hope, Steve, if you're watching, come on, man. I hope you're just trolling us, right? If you're trolling us, genius, you got me, right? If not, maybe I don't know. Call me up and we'll discuss it. I'm not here to make you, to put you down or anything like that. I just wanted to clarify for people who follow you because you have a lot of followers, right? So that's it. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. If you disagree, leave them in the comments. If you agree, leave them in the comments, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.